Mark Thompson. Get woke.
We'll go first to Manny in Connecticut. Manny, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment.
Oh, Mark. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Here it comes, baby. Here comes the pain. It's coming. They're getting you, man. Yeah. I'm going to drive the road. All right.
Manny, you're going to kill Mark.
I know. Mark, take a breath.
Did he say here comes the pain?
I think so. Manny, I think you just put an end to Mark. We had hope for him coming back tomorrow, but I don't know now.
That's all right. Mark, you can take the day. It's all right.
Really? Really? We should take the week?
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make it plain, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Manny from Connecticut, one of our frequent callers and friends calling in today. Then, this was Manafort. This was the Manafort piece. And then he's going to be here with us in studio. We're going to hear from Undocu Black in this hour as well, and Tamika Mallory. They're committing civil disobedience today in and around the DREAM Act. But we've got some news. And joining us, we're glad to have him with us now. As always, the president of the NAACP joining us as always on these Tuesday mornings, the president and CEO, Derek Johnson. Derek, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm good, Mark. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Always good to have you. So we had a victory in court yesterday, didn't we?
Oh, man. I have this saying, when we fight, we win.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we must do as a community, as progressive, as African Americans, is always push the needle. And so we're excited. In fact, I'm out in L.A. It is 4 a.m. in the morning.
But that's why we couldn't get you half an hour ago, because I didn't realize you were in L.A., brother. I'm sorry. It's early as I don't know what out there.
It's just a little early, just a little bit, brother. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. And, you know what? Let me back up. I've seen your journey back home. I love the tweet of the pictures of you, at the lunch counter, just on the sacred ground of Fisk University.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Look at this. Sometimes you got to go back to the source and just reflect. And I'm sure that gave you a good opportunity to reflect, in the home of W.B. Du Bois.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, it was good to be home. I grew up on that campus, and I hadn't been back home to Nashville since my grandmother passed. Been coming up on 3 years now, and so it was good to be back there just to reflect and be a part of that. But so now, the Supreme Court refused to reverse the lower court. Now, is that the same case that the NAACP entered into, or a different one?
No, it's a different case.
Okay.
So you had the California case was the lead case. I think there was about 4 or 5 lawsuits, and ACP was one of the cases.
Okay.
So everyone was waiting to watch that case to see what was going to take place, and so that is a victory. But next up, next case is going to be heard, and we'll go back through the whole process again, because when you have different circuits, you may end up with what's called split decisions. One circuit, Fifth Circuit may say one thing, Seventh Circuit, then it can go to Supreme Court. Now, the issue is where they could refuse to reverse in one circuit and another circuit come up differently, they may decide to here,
Right.
and look at the decision of the different circuits and come up with a different decision.
Yeah.
Now, in other cases, I mean, you get confused. It may be a situation where different circuits have different rules.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no rule of the land as the rules of the circuit, and eventually the Supreme Court will have to settle it. But right now, we dodged the bullet.
So, the bullet that really dodged is that what was to expire Monday, Derek, actually won't expire, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So all the many people here that would have been affected, they will in fact, will continue to exist without the repercussions of the Trump decision.
And so that's good news. But really, it's not likely that any other circuit would step in and change anything before Monday, right?
No, not before Monday.
Yeah, right.
Not before Monday.
And I'm just thinking worst case scenario, Derek. I can't even think of worst case scenario. I mean, it's unlikely that a circuit will rule that the status quo itself would be unconstitutional. You know, I that would be sort of a stretch for the court to come in and come up. Well, for the court to come in and say, well, let's come up with another deadline that's not March 5th, but another deadline. I think that would be a stretch for a court to do, wouldn't it?
It could be a stretch, but we've had bad decisions before.
Right.
Black people have no rights that a white person is bound to uphold.
Right.
Plessy versus Ferguson, Dred Scott. I mean, so let's not assume anything. It is a stretch, but nothing is impossible. We are in a landscape that's like shifting sand.
Yeah.
And we should never assume that something unexpected won't happen.
That's right. Derek Johnson with us, folks. Derek, what else is the NAACP focused on this week?
It's just, I go back to the same thing. It is about getting the vote out, but on Wednesday, the North Carolina State Conference with NAACP, Reverend Spearman is now the state president, replacing Dr. Barber.
Right.
They will be in D.C. on tomorrow to walk the halls of Congress to advocate the need for a fair federal bench. Thomas Farr is by far one of the worst federal judge nominees in the history. He's a known racist. He's done things to try to undermine the right of African Americans to vote in North Carolina. And so there will be people from North Carolina walking the halls to say that they want fair representation on the federal bench and to not confirm his nomination. Yeah, and it shouldn't be confirmed, absolutely. We oftentimes look at the landscape and only look at who's elected in the White House or in Congress, Senate, or legislative races. But the federal court is one of the most important things we have to be worried about. And understand that we're talking about individuals, if nominated and confirmed, they're there for a lifetime, 20, 30 years, and in some cases 30-plus years of sitting on the federal court and making determinations on issues as it would affect us over that time.
Mm-hmm.
And a bad federal judge can sit there and give bad decision based on a very narrow view of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone like Thomas Farr is a problem.
Yeah, no question about it. Derek Johnson with us, president of NAACP. Derek, I'm seeing a headline out of South Carolina, NAACP to announce, and it's probably local, NAACP to announce action regarding City of Myrtle Beach Black Bike Week. Are you familiar with that?
That's our lawsuit. That's for many, many years, the black bikers will convene in Myrtle Beach, and they typically convene the week after the National Bike Week. And we've sent testers down, and this is not the first time we had to file a lawsuit against the city of Myrtle Beach, because the treatment of the black bikers are completely different than the white bikers. All of a sudden, restaurants require a different level of patriotism. They may allow the white bikers to eat and then pay. They will force the black bikers to pay up front, or say that they're closed, and they redirect the traffic differently. Hotels begin to do things differently compared to the week before when the white bikers are there.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been monitoring this for close to 20 years now, and every so many years, based on the prior lawsuit, we will monitor on a consent decree. So we decided to continue to monitor, send testers, and once again, Myrtle Beach has been guilty of discriminating against black bikers.
Mm-hmm.
And at ACP, we will continue to monitor when individuals are being treated differently by business establishments or municipalities. In this case, it's the city of Myrtle Beach.
All right, folks. So we'll be on the lookout. I think there's going to be a press conference today. Derek, how long are you going to be in LA? Are you going to make it to Selma with us this weekend?
I won't be in Selma
this
weekend, but I'm wishing everyone well. We just had the true opening of the Civil Rights Museum in Jackson this past weekend.
That's right. You sure did. Right. Congratulations on that. I saw the pictures of that.
Yeah, we had John Lewis was one of our awardees. Rita Schwerner Bender, the wife of slain civil rights activist Nikki Schwerner. We honored her. We had many of the veterans of the civil rights movement in the room. Congressman Thompson and the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Cedric Richmond, Cory Booker. Many people came out. And it was our goal not to celebrate the opening of the museum, but to pay tribute to those individuals alive and those who have gone on who sacrificed much to make democracy work.
No question about it.
And what's amazing about that museum is it's the only state-funded civil rights museum that highlight the struggles of people who overcame insurmountable opposition in a state that funded a spy agency that resulted in the assassination of many people.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there not because the state was benevolent. It's because of the success of the individuals get elected officials in office, African Americans, to make sure tax dollars also represent our history, our story, our struggles to make democracy work.
No, you're right. That's big news. Of course, folks. Derek is in Mississippi. He's from Mississippi, and Lord knows, I think Nina Simone wrote a song about your state, Derek. That kind of defines what Mississippi was all about. Mississippi, goddamn. And so we know what a struggle's been down there. And Mississippi always holds a special place in civil rights and the civil rights movement because of Medgar Evers.
Medgar Evers, Fannie Lou Hamer.
That's right.
The beautiful history of the struggle for human dignity in Mississippi is it was not based on an egocentric model. It was based on a community-centric model where many people took up the responsibility. And so it survived in ways in which other states' movements didn't. So when Medgar Evers was assassinated, it continued because you had a Hartman Turbo or M.G. Moore or C.C. Bryan or Annie Devine or Winston Hudson, so many local leaders who continued. So it's an amazing story of how, as a people, we must make sure that we empower everyone to be a part of the struggle for freedom, the struggle to make democracy work, the struggle to make sure our children's future is greater than the present reality as we see it.
We saw Black Panther together. Hopefully that's a source of inspiration for people to get involved. This Black Panther sequel will be in your local NAACP branch. So you go there, join NAACP, and you can access the sequel to Black Panther. How about that? That's how that's how we gonna do it.
So
and
if you want to go to Wakanda, you got to fight for it.
That's right. You got to fight for Wakanda. NAACP.org. Derek, as always, thank you, my brother. Glad you could join us. Sorry to get you up so, I didn't know you were on the West Coast. Sorry to get you up so early in the morning, but we appreciate you, man, as always, okay?
I look forward to talking to you.
All right, man. Take care. Derek, take care now.
Take care.
Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP. Manny's in studio with us, folks, and he is here having bid on HungerThon. We were going down the line in the last hour. I want to just pick up, and then we've got some other guests joining us from Washington, D.C. a little bit later in this hour. But we were talking about the NRA, and I was making the point, and feel free to join our conversation, 866-99-SIRIUS, 866-9, what is this?
Oath Keepers.
Read that.
Armed Oath Keepers to stand at Northside High School every day to protect the people there.
Where is Northside?
It's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. An Oath Keeper armed with a handgun and AR-15 has started standing watch outside the local high school. On Friday, Mark Cowan began his watch. He is armed with these two weapons in the front seat of his car. He plans on staying there every day. Cohen's a member of the Oath Keepers Indiana, a nonpartisan association of current and formerly serving military and police first responders who pledged to fulfill the oath of all military and police to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
So they're there to protect the students from what?
From the bad guy with a gun.
So they're just going to stand there. Okay.
Yeah. And
has the school responded to that?
I don't see a response here from the... Actually, I just jumped away from it, Mark. And it's a nationwide call. It's actually, there's a link to their site. They want to start this nationwide. And that honestly scares the living crap out of me. Those guys are bad dudes. They're all bad hombres.
Yeah.
And that's how you start things like, what do you call it? The Reichstag fire, stuff like that. You get these guys out there who are saying they're defending people. And they're really vigilantes. That's what they are.
They don't know how to screen their own people. So, God forbid they have somebody come out there and then that person ends up shooting up school.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jesus Christ, just guns around schools. They got to be occupied. So, go ahead. You want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what the local response to that is, but there's got to be a national response to that because that is playing with fire. That stuff. I mean, they got somebody's got to get in front of that story and shut that down because that is no good. And this is the other thing. I'll show you this is the thing I was pointing about, the Russian stuff. This is the people who did the OCCPR.
We're talking about the Russian bank laundering. But what I want to do, just to pick up on this NRA point, ladies and gentlemen, because I think we have to really take a look at what's going on. I was saying earlier how prior to 1959 there were no law review articles advocating the Second Amendment as an individual right to bear arms. The NRA started funding people to come up with scholarship, pseudo-scholarship, to make that point. And in the year 1791, Bill of Rights is ratified, no right to keep and bear arms. The purpose for it was not explicitly laid out in the language in the Bill of Rights, but Patrick Henry made the argument. This is what he said during the Constitutional Convention that led to the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights 2 years later. If the country be invaded, because the question was whether or not the United States government as a whole could raise up the states for war. So what his interpretation of the Constitution was this: if the country be invaded, a state may go to war, but cannot suppress slave insurrections under this new Constitution. if there should happen an insurrection of slaves, the country cannot be said to be invaded. They cannot, therefore, suppress it without the interposition of Congress. Congress and Congress only under this new Constitution can call forth the militia. So they needed a Bill of Rights so the states could call their own militia to suppress slave insurrections. That's what this whole thing is about. So that's why when Wayne LaPierre says Chicago, 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 and Dana Lash, who is auditioning for a job on Fox News, I mean, she's got the whole, she's doing the whole look thing. She's crazy, by the way. I mean, just anybody says stuff they say in public is crazy. That's why when they say Chicago, 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 that's when I raised the question on Friday. Well, why not just arm the people in Chicago? Let's give all the good people in Chicago free guns. Y'all got enough money. People do gun buybacks and gun amnesty. Well, let's do gun on the offense. Smith & Wesson, arm the good black people of Chicago with guns. But they're not going to do that. That's not what's about. But so watch this. Here's something we found that Wayne LaPierre said in 1999, where he said he believes in gun-free zones in schools, which the president was making fun of the other day. Bring my computer up for me if you would.
Gun-free.
Here we go. This is Wayne LaPierre.
We believe in absolutely gun-free, zero-tolerance, totally safe schools. That means no guns in America's schools, period, with the rare exception of law enforcement officers or trained security personnel. We believe America's schools should be as safe as America's airports. You can't talk about, much less take, bombs, guns onto airplanes. Such behavior in our schools should be prosecuted just as certainly as such behavior in our airports is prosecuted.
Wayne LaPierre in 1999. Him saying that there should not be guns in America's schools. But now that's shifted. So the analogy would be if he's talking about airports, I mean, you have armed personnel in airports, but you don't have, that'd be like arming the ticket the count people at the counter, or for that matter, arming the pilots. Now, think about it. Pilots are not armed, right? They don't carry guns on plane with them. So why would a teacher be armed, or why would you think that it'd be a good idea to arm a teacher? Most of these teachers don't want to be trained in that way. Your reaction, those are the words of Wayne LaPierre. Your reaction, 866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748. We took the poll on Friday. Most of you disagreed with the proposition that there should be guns in schools, thankfully. But, where are you on that today? I'm assuming most people still agree with that position. Manny's in studio with us. Manny from Connecticut. He bid for the opportunity to be here. Manny's a physician, y'all. He's a doctor, but he's very politically aware. When you read all this stuff, when do you have time to practice medicine?
I read at night. I read in between patients. I multitask. I mean, it's I don't know, because when you're a doctor, you're constantly learning. You're constantly, well, you should be, and you're constantly updating your file of information. There's stuff you throw out. There's stuff you keep. There's stuff you learn. And that follows with this. And it's about facts. I mean, at least that's how I try to practice. I practice based on factual information.
Are your kids interested in politics?
My son joined the Young Democrats.
Did he?
We'll see. I mean, he's forming his opinions. He thinks I don't give people enough on the right enough chance to reply back, and that's part of the process, and it's right for him to have a formative thinking in that way, to develop his opinions. Unfortunately, I know where a lot of these people are coming from, and he doesn't. And that's part of that. But I think he was. I can't remember if I talked to you about this or I talked to Signorelli, but when he was, he had given Trump the chance to, he wanted to listen to what Trump had to say about the guns, and then it turned out to be a ruse. We want the guns in schools and the teachers and all that stuff, and that's his exposure to these type of guys, who are gonna use grieving people as their props for their political places, and it's more of the outrage that they drum up. Again, distraction. They're not serious. I mean, all of these things are not serious discussions we're having about the way to fix these problems. These are ridiculous, stupid things. I mean, I can't even, it's, I don't know. Like, Mark, do you want to be a surgeon? We need more surgeons. I could just hand you a scalpel. You could get busy right now.
As if it's that simple.
Yeah, no. Brittany, you need something, anything? Mole or something taken off? You
mentioned being a physician. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to follow my mother's brother's footsteps, who was a physician.
Yeah.
But I took high school chemistry, and that pretty much ended that.
Yeah, well.
I didn't do well. I couldn't.
I got my first semester in college was chemistry, and I didn't do so well. But I took it again, and I got an A. So, but that had to do with the fact that I was a freshman in college, and things were freshman in college stuff. That's the old what does not kill me makes me stronger sort of thing.
Yeah. David's in Chicago. Speaking of guns and violence, David, God bless you. Good morning. Get ready for impeachment. You're on the air, and Manny's here in studio with us. David, go right ahead.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, hey, man, you know what? I think it's the craziest thing, and why they're talking about this particular issue instead of the real issue, which is getting rid of all those damn assault rifles, and good gun legislation to keep folks from getting guns who shouldn't have them, And the mere fact that you want to have the oath keepers, those idiots that walk around with machine guns, hey, man, some of them guys got loose screws, if not all of them.
Yeah.
So you don't want those guys, hanging around, because who are they to determine who's a criminal or not?
Right. Right.
So absolutely not, man. This is just crazy, man. This idiot president we got here is just setting up for something else catastrophic to happen, and it's going to happen.
So what do you think about my idea to arm all of you in Chicago?
Hell yeah. You know what? Hey, man, if that be the case, I'm in Chicago. I'm actually in a suburb of Chicago, but guess what, man? The news media, the national media makes it seem like it's like the Wild Wild West out there. It's not. Every now and then somebody gets shot or something like that, and then it becomes a real big thing. But I mean, I live out here, man, and I mean, folks are not just walking down the street getting shot down. I mean, you got disputes, and people are going to sell those disputes.
And where do those well, let's unpack that. Where do those disputes come from?
Hey, you know what? If I got an issue with you, with say maybe I'm a drug dealer or something like that, the way you handle it was with a gun. But I mean that whole process about black on black crime, it's not, man, because I live in the black community, and if somebody screws around with me in my black community, that's who I'm going to address. That's not black on black crime. That's just handling your business. Whether it be right or wrong.
But we know the guns and the drugs that are being slung are not indigenous to us. That's stuff that's brought in.
No, it was brought in. And thank you, Reagan, for trying to support the Congress with all that crap that we got going on now.
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
But hey, man, thanks for the platform, dudes. I love your show, man. I try and get as many people onto this joke as I can, because I have learned more from you than I've learned in the past 40 years. I've been
bless
out of
your
school.
heart, man. Thank you for saying
Thank
that.
you, man. Thank you, guys.
I hope we just try and do a good job. Thank you, David.
Man, you guys are hitting the nail on the head and hitting it hard.
Thank you, man. Stay tuned,
All right,
okay?
bro.
All right.
All right.
Take care. 866-99-SIRIUS. Folks, Manny from Connecticut in studio with us, and let's talk about this. I just hope this thing doesn't die down the way it did in Sandy Hook. Louise in Pennsylvania. Louise, God bless you. Good morning. Get ready for impeachment. You're on the air. Manny's in studio too, Louise. Go right ahead.
Well, they're taking it to the extreme to have these people outside there that are idiots that'll shoot. You know, who knows who's going to get shot. So just take it to a more extreme. The kids all know who the perpetrator was going to be, who the crazy person was. So just arm the kids. Mm-hmm. See how ridiculous?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and that's the other thing. This whole thing about changing the age. Most mass shooters aren't 18. So you change the age from 18 to 21. What's that going to do? That's just to say you did something.
Yes, exactly.
But
I mean, I went into. I used to teach school for about 20 years, and now I have my own business. But I was at my grandson's swim meet, and I walked into that big, beautiful high school, probably very much like Florida, and I got the biggest lump in my throat. I almost just sat down there and cried because I thought of all the kids I taught and how much I love kids, and and in addition to that, what about all the inner city kids or just city kids that are shot? What about them? And then I pictured that poor kid that was running across, and got shot with no guns, no nothing. I can't remember the situation, but a whole bunch of police were looking at him, and then this other guy comes up and shoots him, kills him. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we have a huge gun problem, but
Louise, what do you think about them criticizing these cops for not running in the building? What's your reaction to that?
They don't know what they would do in a situation like that, and they don't know. They don't really know the situation. They don't know if he thought, where he thought the gunman went, or if he thought he was going to make this thing worse. And you don't know if you would freeze in that situation yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough. One attorney I was talking with a long time ago said, I can't comment on such and such, he said, because I don't know all the facts. So I don't know.
Well, I said this on television yesterday, even as a Black Lives Matter advocate, I don't always cut the police a lot of slack. But I have to empathize with those police officers in Parkland because you don't really know what's going on inside of a building if you don't see, because, you think about it. It might have been more than one shooter. I mean, what do you do? And even the military is not going to go in a situation like that without some eyes. They're going to get a satellite. They're going to try to get some heat recognition, see how many shooters in there. I mean, you don't know what to do.
And I wanted to make
that's the time that they need the drone that you were talking about one time.
Yeah, remember we had the drone to disarm. Yeah, where them people at? The drone people. We need to get them back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because nobody's talking about drones.
We need to get the drone in there that can disarm. Go ahead, man.
There was a guy on yesterday who was an Afghan vet who said that when an active shooter had come into the camp in Afghanistan, because they usually came in groups, but sometimes they came in solo, they were told, now these are guys, they all have weapons, they all have massive amounts of training. They're told, you stay in place, you do not go outside because you do not know what the ground looks like. You stay in position. If obviously that person comes in your hut or whatever, you're going to shoot them. But what they would do is they would send out fire teams whose job it was to search these people out. And I mean, the fact that I'm even making this comparison between Afghanistan and a school is just blowing my mind, number one. But the point is that to expect this man, and they're setting this man up. They're saying they're going to use him as a reason to say, oh, well, it's only because of him that the gun thing didn't work. Yeah. And that's we have to get away from that trap. That's a trap.
Right. Louise, thank you for your call, okay?
Okay, well, thank you.
Be strong, keep the faith. We'll talk a little later, all right?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, take care now. We'll take a quick break. Don't go away. Sirius XM Progress 127 Resistance Radio. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. This is MIP.